Thank you. Hey. How we doing? Hello, everybody. How we doing? Thank you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Oh, come on. We're good. I only got 15 minutes. We're good. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Really. All right. I really appreciate that. That helps my nerves a little bit. When I walked out here, I got to be honest, I was pretty nervous. I hope I didn't, bomb this. Because last time what happened? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to be here. I'm speaking on behalf of being a patient, but also about the technologies out there. So it's kind of the best of both worlds that I got to experience here in Maryland, in Bethesda at Walter Reed. But we're going to get right to the story because I don't want to hold you guys up from any questions you might have afterwards and things like that. So on the screen, you were going to see my best friend, my wife, Kelsey, right? And she's awesome, and she's the best wife in the world. And the reason I know that, ladies and gentlemen, is because this is Staff Sergeant Travis Mills of the 82nd Airborne Division. We live in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I jump out of airplanes, kick bad guys in the face. We have a house. Everything's going our way. And wouldn't you know it, she winds up telling me on a Sunday morning with excitement and fear that she's pregnant, right? 9 months go by, and my daughter's born. And the reason I know that my wife is the best in the world is because when I looked at my wife and I said, what do you want to name her? You think Madison or Avery? She looked at me and said, no, we have to name her Chloe Lynn, don't we? And I said, we don't have to do that. Why would you even think that? And she said, because, you idiot. You already got your ex-girlfriend's name tattooed on your arm. Yeah. Yeah. So, right? So we named her after my ex-girlfriend. It's not true. It's not true. No, my ex-girlfriend's the devil, but it's on. So everything's going my way. I'm coming up on my third deployment, all right? I got to go over to Afghanistan for my third time, and I had orders taking me somewhere else, and I canceled them because I have guys that believe in me, and they want to serve with me, and they come from all across this nation. So I went overseas. And the first day was a firefight, second day was a firefight, third was the same as the first two, very hot zone. We got a phone call about a month and a half in, April 10th. The phone rang, and the village elder was on the line. He said, hey, we got an IED in the village. We need you to come check it out. So we started putting our stuff on like normal. So as we're going over what we're going to do, we're strapping our gear on. We go out with the minesweeper, and we start sweeping the ground back and forth. Back and forth. Nothing alarms us there's anything there. I take my backpack off, and I set it on the ground. You see, my bag is 120 pounds, hits the ground, and underneath it is a bomb. And it takes my right arm, right leg automatically. When I'm on the ground, I think I'm going to die, so I tell the medic, don't worry about it, go save my guys. In my head, I'm just saying, don't freak out, stay calm. They rush me into surgery, right? We're going to fast forward into the surgery here. And they cut my left leg off because it's already gone. And then 2 days later, they have to cut my left arm off because the skin and necrotized, so I'm a quadruple amputee. On April 14th, they woke me up for the very first time in Launchstoel, Germany. And the first thing I said to my brother-in-law who was in the room, I said, my soldiers, how are my soldiers? And he told me about Brandon and Ryan. And then I said, am I paralyzed? And Josh looked at me and said, no, you're not paralyzed. I said, you don't got to lie to me because I can't put my fingers and toes. Tell me the truth. Am I paralyzed? He said, you're not paralyzed, but you don't have them anymore. And that's how I spent my 25th birthday because that day was actually my 25th birthday. 3 days later, I arrived at Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland. My wife came up to me, right, and I saw her. And when I finally got the chance to talk to her, I said, Kelsey, you don't have to do this. Take the house, take the cars, take whatever money we have saved up and go. This is not the life I would choose for you. And she thought about it, and she said, I was thinking that. Yeah. Yeah. And then she came around and she said, you know what? Handicap parking sounds enticing. I'm going to stay. But if you can imagine, she actually at 23 and I'm 25 and our daughter's 6 months old said, you know what? I'm going to be here. We're going to get through this together. So I'm at Walter Reed and I'm trying to recover. And I had to find motivation. But I find motivation in my wife and my daughter. And all of a sudden, there's a brotherhood at Walter Reed. Because into my room, after I got out of a ketamine coma, which is this case study they did, where they gave me 600 milligrams an hour for 5 days straight, because my phantom limb pain was so bad, that when I was hallucinating, in and out of my hallucinations, a robot walked into my room. And the first thing out of this guy's mouth was, hey man, welcome to the club. I said, I want to be in your club. He said, kind of late now, don't you think? I said, oh, you got me there. And his name was Todd Nicely. And he showed me that with hard work and determination, I could walk again, drive again. He said, I'm the second ever quadruple amputee. You're the fourth. And two things went off. Number one, this guy showed me the way that I can get better. I can still be there for my family. And number two, he's a Marine. And if a Marine can do it with how dumb they are, you know, I can easily, because I'm in the Army. I'm obviously brilliant. So the things I wanted to accomplish, I wanted to be able to feed myself again. I wanted to be able to pick a fork up and put food in my mouth. You see, I couldn't do that for 5 weeks. At 5 weeks, I was out of my recovery stage enough where I was healed up and I could grab a fork. I also was tired of sitting in a wheelchair. I thought, you know what, I want to be able to walk again. So 7 weeks and 4 days into my recovery, I took my very first steps at Walter Reed. It was very painful. It was not easy. And as I was walking around the track, they said, you'll walk 1 lap today. And I went ahead and walked 3 laps that day. And when I got done, I sat down, took a breather, and realized this could be something that I do. Now, if we fast forward a little bit, I wanted to be able to drive again as well. And let me tell you guys something. If you guys come to Augusta, Maine, where I live at, and you're on the road, and you see that white truck on the road, 6.7 liter turbo diesel, you know what I'm saying, got a tuner in it. They call it the compensator. I don't get that joke, but anyway. Do you guys see that on the road? Be very careful, because I'm an awful driver. The trick is, the license costs $430 in Maine for me. $30 I failed, but that guy could be bought. $400. That's right. Money buys everything, kids. Oh, you guys aren't in high school. Never mind. But the technology in that, right, and driving gave my independence back. And my wife and I at Walter Reed, we formed a really tight-knit bond with a lot of families there. Guys going through the same thing, and wives and children. And you know what? I realized it's all about giving back. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little about the technology and about what I have going on. But the first thing is, my wife and I now run a big nonprofit, the Travis Mills Foundation, where we take these veterans that have been through something like I have, combat or service-connected physical injury, and we show them how to do things like walk or drive, or not walk, or drive, no, I'm lying to you guys. We show them how to do things adaptively like kayak and canoe, and we bring out 8 families per week and let them know, hey, life goes on. We try to reinstill confidence in them and independence, because this is the lessons that I got taught at Walter Reed. This is the things that I was given the chance to learn at Walter Reed. Now, first thing we're going to talk about, click it for me, Craig. I got a guy in the back clicking my button for me. First thing I'm going to talk about is some healthcare technology, okay? The first thing that I got to know at Walter Reed was that I was going to be okay. So I'm going to tell you guys how my legs kind of work. When I started walking, I was very weak. I went from 250 pounds, right, 6'3" to like 3'6", something like that. Cut off at the knees. I know, it's crazy. And I had to regain everything. I went from 250 to 140 pounds. So when you look at the screen, on the left side, you're going to see my short legs. Those are the first ones you get. When you get taller, you get the ones on the right. The ones on the right, that's just gravity, okay? They don't do anything special, but when you trip, you just fall harder, right? The ones I'm wearing now are microprocessors. They have 4 distinct functions. The first thing is, they're little computers. Every time I move, internally, 300 adjustments get made to keep me as upright as possible. That's pretty exciting stuff when you're me. I also can slow myself down going down a jetway. They have hydraulic brakes with pistons. So when I get walking down a jetway, I don't go bowling for people. Yeah. Granted, sometimes somebody will cut me off, and I'm like, oh, I can't stop. You know? Yeah. No, it's too bad. And she's always like, oh, my hip. You know, I don't know why, but Ruth in her 80s is rude. Rude. They have Bluetooth connectivity, so I can lock my legs to a 25-degree angle so I can drive my vehicle like everybody else. And the last thing is they're waterproof. So if I'm out in the rain and I get caught in a storm, I don't got to worry about my legs breaking and trying to find cover. They don't get broken in the water. Now the next thing, ladies and gentlemen, is my hand. And this thing's the coolest thing in the world. On the screen, you're going to see the most important hand that I own, right there. It's not the one I'm wearing. No, that one. That one's called a Greifer. That hand is in a Crown Royal bag on the top shelf of my closet. Yeah, and nobody touches that hand because that hand closes 25 pounds of pressure. And then when it's done, you can close it again, 35 pounds of pressure. And you see my daughter is 7 years old. Yeah, in 9 years, Johnny's going to come knocking at the door. Yeah. And he's going to be like, Hey, bro. I'm like, did you just bro me, Johnny? That's 25 pounds of pressure. He's like, oh, dude, that hurts. Johnny, there's no strike 2 and 3. This is 2 and 3 right here. Crunch. I break his hand. I know, sad. He's like, let me go. Let me go. I pull Johnny close. I don't let him go. No. I say, Johnny, guess what? I don't know what. No fingerprints, Johnny. Remember that, Johnny. Now, that's the more technical side of my recovery process. And I have people signing up to come to my house for that day. So excited. There's also a brotherhood side. Now, through this experience, I was very upbeat. I had a couple life lessons I had to learn very quick. When I got blown up and I was down and out and I was wondering, why did this happen? I was embarrassed. I was angry. I was questioning, am I a bad person? Does God hate me? And the biggest question I honestly had, ladies and gentlemen, was why didn't I just die? Why did I live through this? And I found the answer in my family. And I found the answer in Todd Nicely, that corporal that came to see me that was retired from the Marine Corps, that told me I would be fine. So I decided I was going to talk to everybody I could that was at that hospital. And at Walter Reed, amputees are what you normally see. And me missing all 4 limbs, that was the worst you were going to see. So I'd go room to room. Now at first, the therapist and the doctor was like, hey Travis, you're pretty chipper. You're always happy. I got a guy I need you to meet. I can't tell you because of HIPAA what his name is, but I can tell you he's not in room 40, and he's not in 42. And I told you guys I'm not a dumb Marine, so I'm like, oh yeah, 41, duh. And the Marine's like, I don't get where you're going. Well, what? So I'd go up and I would say hi, and I'd say, hey, I'm Travis. You're going to be fine. Same message Todd gave me from that experience. Some people found out I did that. I became known as the mayor of Building 62, and they made a documentary on me. So if you guys have any patients or anybody you're talking to that need a little pick-me-up, that are wondering how they're going to get through their situation, go on to Netflix, type in Travis Mills. I don't get paid per view, so I'm not like trying to have you guys give me a bunch of money. The next one I get paid for. So, but I'd love for you guys to be able to pass my message along, because it's about resiliency and courage and making sure to understand what life really has to offer. Now, on top of that, I was also given the opportunity to write a book. The book's a New York Times bestseller, very proud of it. I made most of it up, so yeah. But the book's called Tough As They Come. Now, the story is going to tell itself, but the author's note's really the most important. The first thing it's going to tell you is if you did serve, thank you for your service. I didn't serve any more. I didn't fight any harder. I didn't do anything more heroic or brave. So I make fun of Marines just because I respect them. And the other 3 branches are like, whatever. But just joking. And the next thing it's going to tell you is I don't think my problems outweigh anybody else's. I am fortunate to live in a nation where I can wake up in the morning with no arms, no legs, strap my legs on, right, throw my arm on, walk downstairs. Well, it's not true. I have an elevator. But go in the elevator and go out and live life to the fullest. Take my wife and my daughter wherever we want to go. So if you guys want to check the book out, by all means, please do it. Go ahead and click it for me, Craig. Now, I normally talk for an hour, and I have a lot more to say, but the most important thing I want to tell you guys today is I appreciate the fact that you're here. I know that you're giving quality to everybody that you service, and if it wasn't for people like you, the medics on the ground that I had, the ability that I had to go to Walter Reed and learn how to walk and drive, feed myself, and get myself back up, I would not be standing here in front of you today. The 2 life lessons that I have learned that I want you to go and pass along to everybody that you meet, that you work with in the medical field, is number 1, don't dwell on the past. I learned that because when I was sitting in my hospital bed, closing my eyes and wishing that this did not happen, I realized you're not going to change the past. I can't change what happened yesterday, and I can't change what happened 6 years ago in Afghanistan. So I reminisce the 25 great years I had with legs and arms, and I've had 6 pretty great years without them. And the next thing I will tell you is you can't always control your situation. I learned that in my second deployment. We had just a day that was supposed to be 5 hours turned out awful, about 36 hours. You get to the point where you laugh or cry. And obviously, I'm not going to cry. I'm a dude, and I'm like, look at it. But with that experience and so many more, and then the big explosion I had, I realized I can't always control my situation, but I can always control my attitude. So every day I wake up, my daughter comes into my room, wakes me up quietly. We don't make mom upset, because she likes to sleep and I'm scared of her. Because she's taking my arm off sometimes. She hits me with it when I'm in trouble. And she's like, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself. Loopholes, you know what I'm saying? I also get locked. I used to be in the corner, take my arms and legs away, put me in the corner, but I started getting out, so she puts me in the closet. No, I can't. It's not. But I will tell you that I've learned you can always control your attitude. If you have patients or doctors or physicians or anybody in this field that you work in that need to hear my story or want to know more about me, please visit travismills.org. At the end of this, if you guys want to ask questions and meet me out back, please do. Get pictures. I'm not contagious. You're not going to catch the arms and legs from me. I can guarantee that. About 98% sure. And I thank you for all that you do and having me here today. And as you guys can tell, if you guys have any questions, nothing's going to embarrass me. I'm going to throw it out there if you haven't noticed yet. Still got it. Still works. And there's my son, Dax, to prove it, named after the two medics. So ladies and gentlemen, absolutely. So, I appreciate your time. I'm thankful for the technology out there. How my hand works is off muscle flexes, and I'll explain it more outside, but just know I'm able to grab whatever I need to grab, drink whatever I need to drink, feed myself, dress myself, and everything I need to get back to do with life because of all the things out there in advancements.